There's been a really beautiful current that has been moving through my life and my work, and I wanted to speak to it and share the insights and remembrance that I've received while also sharing a cool little bundle that I've put together for you as well. So, for those of you that don't know me, hi, I am Natasha and I am a kinesiologist and multi-dimensional quantum healer. I'm very passionate about working with the nervous system, helping support the nervous system to really expand the capacity to know that it's safe so that it can bring through more of your own soul remembrance, more of your own soul essence, and allow you to be who you came here to be. And I really believe that we are the ancient ones and we have created this plan many, many eons ago. And I think that's why I first had this pull to um, bring through these journeys that were remembering some ancient civilizations. But I think it's something that's always been pulling me within my life without me realizing it. And what it's made me realize is that I always had this fear of the water as I was a child. I hated swimming. Absolutely hated it. I hated going in the water. It was a battle to go in the shower or the bath. I would be screaming, there'd be tears. And yeah, I really feel bad for what I put my parents through. But um it's only well, it was only last year that I realized where that had come through from or another layer of it. But I'll just backtrack a little bit more in that when I did my multidimensional quantum healing training, I was still studying kinesiology and then started to share those services with some friends and family. And one of my first clients that came through for the multidimensional quantum healing, there was this scene that she was drowning in the ocean, and there was just so many, and it was just so vast, and it was just chaotic. Um, and it came that it was from Lemuria that she was drowning as the ancient civilization of Lemuria was falling. And um, and I'm trying to remember if I knew at that point or if it was after seeing it with a couple more clients that I realized that I had been one of them as well. I had been with them drowning and feeling like I was calling forward the souls that I had drowned with to help clear this collective trauma that we shared. And it was really, I guess, yeah, it helped me understand the fear of the water, but it still didn't really help me move through it as much, so to speak. And maybe because I hadn't actually done the healing on myself to clear my own issue there. But I then, it was been November, I think, yeah, so late last year, I had or went to a Peruvian shaman that was visiting Perth. I went to this workshop, and it was on the final day that we did this water cleansing ceremony. And as I heard the whistle from that water vessel and looking out at the ocean, I realized that I had been blaming the ocean for all of those lives that had been lost, and I'd been holding that grudge. And it was just so profound to realize what I had been holding and to finally let that all go. And then over that summer, taking my daughters to, they were doing swimming lessons at the beach and just helping them through having to move through different layers of fear of it's being cold, and there were little fish that were biting their toes, and meeting new people and this and that, and just realizing how much fear the ocean must hold from us as well, and just how that's just yet another layer added on top of it. But it was just also a really beautiful chance for me to reflect on how I had been able to move through that fear, and also how many over the year, how many people I had been helping as well from that same scene. And as I was relaunching my membership, which I relaunched in March, I knew like the three journeys that I knew had to come through were remembering Lemuria, remembering Atlantis, and remembering ancient Egypt. And that was kind of my initial guiding force at the beginning of the year. And I remember when I'd first heard about the ancient civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria, that I guess I had this stereotype that had come through. I don't even know what or whether it was my own I don't even know what word to use. Just yeah, whether it was from myself or from external influences, I don't know. But I just perceived that Lemuria was good and Atlantis was bad. That Lemuria were these heart-centered people, and it just felt so lovely. Whereas Atlantis felt like, while I was intrigued by like the crystal energy that they would have been using and their technology, but it was like really feeling like it was about power and greed and I think blaming them for what had happened with Lemuria. So I was like, oh, if and when I find out that I want to be Lemurian, I don't want to be from Atlantis. And then I, which was it that came first? Um, it was a client session. It was a little boy on the morning driving to the clinic. I listened to this podcast and it was this episode about Atlantis, which normally I would have just skipped, but I enjoyed the podcast. So I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I could feel that it activated something inside me. And then, and I know it was to be in preparation for this client, this boy who had been this magnificent Atlantean being and um, yeah, it just really helped open my eyes and help expand my own perceptions, my own consciousness. And yeah, to be able to help him and over multiple sessions, we've been on quite some journeys, and he always has something special to share with me. And it's been such a gift to be able to work with this boy. And it's it really helped open my eyes. It helped just open me up to the possibility of Atlantis, so that when I did Lionsgate meditation last year, I was really hoping to go to Egypt because Egypt had been pulling me. I'd always felt this connection to Egypt. My husband and I had gone there in 2012. And I say now it feels a bit like a wasted trip because I would love to be able to connect with the land, to connect with the temples, to connect with the stones on this deep level. Whereas I know I was just a tourist going through, and even though we very much appreciated everything we saw, um, just knowing that there was so much held there that I couldn't access at that point. So I know I will make it back there again, but um, it was just knowing that Egypt had always pulled me. And as I was listening to this meditation, feeling like, yes, we're going to Egypt. And no, I ended up going into a Stargate, ending up in Sirius, and then seeing myself go back through this Sirius Stargate into Atlantis as a high priestess. And it was just, it was quite a bit of a glimpse, but it was just like, oh, wow. So I have been in Atlantis before. But again, I still didn't really want to go exploring it until this year. And when I held the Remembering series, which was part of the season of Remembrance, we started with Lemuria, and it was so beautiful to return to or visit this state of Lemuria that still exists now, and to feel like I was able to step out of my form and just expand into this beautiful level of consciousness. And I just remember the first, so I had to listen to the replay. So the first time remembering like expanding and feeling the water's edge touch me, and then feeling like that made me contract. So it was like, oh wow, I'm still not ready to meet the water. And then when I listened to the replay again, I was actually playing in the water, and I feel like I had gone back into a past life where I was this child playing in this water, swimming and enjoying life. And then the next thing I knew, I was snatched and taken, and that was how I ended up in Atlantis. I had already a year or two earlier seen visions of my face that had been, I guess, mutated as a result of being experimented on in Atlantis. So I think that had also been part of my not wanting to go there, the resistance. But and I'm trying to remember if it was before or after the Lionsgate meditation. I had done another meditation that I had seen myself in like one of those, I don't even know, one of those capsules where bodies can be submerged in this water fluid thing. But I guess there's some sort of submersion, suspension, and I knew that my heart energy was being extracted to power, I don't know what. And when I went turn to the that Lemuria lifetime and seeing that was when I got taken, um, knowing that that was the both ends of the puzzle, that was how that had come to be. And I had already kind of transmuted the trauma from that experience when I had listened to that meditation that had taken me to Atlantis, but being on the other end of it, seeing where I had come from and what I've been taken away from just helped me, I guess, fill in those gaps and to just help round the whole story out, getting that whole story arc. And it really, um, I guess, allowed me to just I guess it was also yet letting go of yet another level of disconnection from the ocean as well, because it was like that had been my playful space, that had been my safe space, and that's where I had been taken from. So understanding that I needed to work through restoring that trust as well. And then when I did the Remembering Atlantis call the following month, what I saw was something that just really opened me up to the beauty of Atlantis. I guess with everything, there's always the beauty and wonder at the height of it all as it's rising, and then at the fall, obviously, there's the shadow aspects and the not so nice things. But what I saw was, or what I experienced was literally being shot out of some sort of, I want to say, like particle decelerator and splattered into the wall, which was like this pink plasma type goo. And in that, I was in this state of consciousness where I could communicate with the crystals and um, configure them how I needed them to be. And then I was like having fun doing that. And then I just hear this voice like, stop mucking around. And it's like, it's time. And so I had to come out of the wall. And then I was this young girl and I was getting ready for my ceremony, I guess, to become the priestess because yeah, I was this robe was being put on me, and in the background, as I was being dressed, I saw the Stargate, and I just knew that that Stargate was my Stargate, and that it had been with me a long time. And realizing that I hadn't stepped from Sirius into Atlantis, that I had grown up in Atlantis, and I had been moving between the worlds through that Stargate. So that was yeah, really, again, really beautiful to just see the other end of that spectrum and I guess yeah, completing that other bit of the arc. And yeah, so that was really beautiful to reconnect to, I guess, the gifts that Atlantis had given me. And as you're listening to this, like you may have already had a connection or a pull towards one of these civilizations that I've been speaking of, or maybe as I'm speaking to you, it might be stirring something up within you to be remembered, to be activated. And yes, we need to clear the trauma of what may still be held in ourselves, but in clearing that, that then allows us to bring through the gifts. So it's not just about constantly being on that healing cycle and clearing, clearing, clearing. It's about clearing what's in the way, clearing the muck so that we've got the space to bring through the gifts and the wisdom that we had from those civilizations, that we were able to cultivate great practices and knowledge and gifts and wisdom, and that we can tap into that now. So yeah, that's the main message that I want to get through. But I will just touch on Egypt as well. And that is to say that I guess if I follow the Stargate thread, I have had multiple lifetimes in Egypt as well. And I know I had been there at the fall of it. That was kind of the remembrance that had come through around Lionsgate last year as well. And that was knowing I had been a priestess there and one of the many women that I guess kind of were part of I want to say like the upper tier, but it doesn't really feel like it was hierarchical. But it was when the men came over and to take over, and they pretty much just slaughtered us. And just knowing it was very violent, and we were taken and buried in these tunnels deep in the earth, and the funerary rites weren't performed, and that's kept us disconnected from that part of us for so long. And when I was doing this Egypt Codes workshop last year, I was able to connect in with Sekhmet, goddess Sekhmet, and she was able to help me restore my crown, but also like she needed me to tell her where the people were because they couldn't access them. And so, yeah, so we've been working to help clear that collective trauma there as well. So, knowing that the remembrances I've had and like the key ones are connected to these collective traumas as well. So really trying to help clear what's held in the collective field. And yeah, so that was, I guess, the um, one of the trauma sides of it. Another aspect was um, in the journey, if and when you sign up, is that it was to do with the takeover and very much seeing it was for control and access to the stargates and just seeing how there different um, levels involved, different ways that people reacted knowing what was coming. So, and it feels like it's to do with the star beings that were very much a part of the culture there. So many went off world, went back, returned to their world if they could still get that back there, or went to another world. Um, and that's left them with the feeling of guilt or shame for leaving, for looking after saving themselves. And then there were the ones that stayed behind and especially the ones that were knew how to operate the Stargate, having to choose what to do, and like trying to defend and protect the Stargate for as long as they could, and then realizing if they couldn't, and then making that choice if they were going to operate the Stargate for these new powers that be. And yeah, so it was quite a big array that happened in that moment. So whether I've spoken to something that may feel like it resonates for you, or maybe I haven't, but I just wanted to share different bits of my story. There's so many more, like my Dragon Remembrance story. You'll find that on my channel as well. And I know that's more to do with a fairy realm overlay that was around Lemuria as well. So it was Lemuria, but not quite. And that's been really a big core part of my story. And but we all just have so many stories to tell, and that there's so much we can gain from remembering these stories without being attached to what the story um, may tell us, like just allowing the story to be its own living consciousness in a sense as well. So if I have sparked anything inside you that would like to have the opportunity to know more about yourself, then I have put together a bundle for the Remembering Lemuria, Remembering Atlantis, and Remembering Ancient Egypt. It's called Portals of Remembrance, and you will find that in the link below. So you'll be able to access all three journeys for the price of one, and I will have that available until the end of the month. And I really hope that it's able to help you clear any trauma, any limiting beliefs, any negative emotions, any negative thought forms that may still be playing out in this life, knowing that this is a 9 year, this is the year that we end a lot of these old cycles because we're here to bring something new. And so ending those cycles of that pain will allow you to access the wisdom as well, access those gifts, and just remember who you have been in those lifetimes and what is it that you can draw into this life to help you with where you're going. So I hope you fill the pool and take up the invitation to join Portals of Remembrance. Uh, I would like to also invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be posting some more videos a bit more regularly now, and I just, yeah, really want to help, I guess, just talk more openly about our multidimensionality and what that actually means. And yeah, just have fun while we're doing it as well. So that is all. So yeah, please like and share this video, and I hope to see you inside.